Greetings, fellow nerds and geeks. Why don't you pull yourself up a chair, grab yourself a beverage, and prepare to enjoy a geek-tastic conversation. Welcome to the Geek Easy.
Welcome back to the Geek Easy podcast. This is episode number 68 for June 19th, 2019. I am Pixel Dan, and I'm once again joined by Jonathan Leonard.
Hey.
And Jaron McCaffrey.
That's me.
What's going on, guys?
Glad to spend another evening with Dan's radio voice.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
That's right.
I did my research for this episode, and it didn't help me at all.
No. Well, let's tell everybody what we're going to do this episode. So this episode is going to be all video game talk because we're going to discuss E3. And yeah, while we were kind of shooting ideas back and forth at each other of what topics we should discuss, I kind of like sent a big long list of all the things that I wanted to bring up, and it was just kind of like, well, I guess that's going to be the whole episode because the list of everything Dan wants to talk about is like a whole episode's worth of stuff. But
well, you sent like 3 emails adding stuff every time. You're like, I kind of like to talk about these couple things from E3. And they're like, that's cool. And then it's like, oh, and also these things. And there's like 10 more things. You're like, and there's a third. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about these. And we were just like, you know what? We can just do the whole episode.
E3 extravaganza.
All the things you want to talk about, Dan.
This episode will end up clocking in somewhere between 10 minutes and 9 hours.
Yeah, we have no idea where it's going to fall. Depends on how much I have to say about everything. I guess we should also let it be known that this isn't going to be like full-on coverage of that show because I'm mostly just going to talk about the things I want to talk about from E3, and you guys are just going to have to be okay with that. I think it'll be fine, though.
Well, this is a reaction show.
Totally,
not
right?
a news show.
Right, yes,
So,
yeah.
I've seen those. That's just us going, whoa!
Oh, yeah,
right?
So we're just going to play a bunch of trailers this episode, and we're going to do that to it the whole time. Like over freak out, start jumping up and down. I'll start throwing things off my shelves. I'm so excited.
There's a chain chomp, guys. There's a chain chomp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, E3's been about a week ago at this point, and there's already been tons of coverage, and I'm sure you guys know everything. So now you get to listen to us geek out about some of the stuff that we saw from the show. And since we don't do a lot of video game stuff on here, I thought that'd be a nice change of pace for the Geek Easy. So lots of video game stuff. So before I just dive into this list of stuff, is there anywhere specific you guys want to start? Because I know I kind of wrote this agenda, but I don't.
We might as well just start with that Avengers debacle.
Let's do that. Let's start with that Avengers. That's a great. It fits in perfect with the theme of this show. Usually, we should definitely talk about that. So what he's referring to is the new Avengers video game that was announced that I'm sure you all know about at this point.
If you're on the internet, you're complaining about it.
Been quite the meme since that video game was revealed. Gosh, and you know, I probably should have looked up more information about the game itself, but there's
not a ton out there.
That's true. There's not a ton out there.
Like, people don't really know what's gameplay, what's not gameplay. What, you know, I've heard some summaries of sort of like the style of game that it's going to be, but there's really no indication of what it actually looks like, and it's still. I mean, it's over a year from coming out, or just under a year from coming out?
May 2020. May 15, 2020 is the release date. This says it's an upcoming action-adventure video game published by Square Enix.
That narrows it down.
Yeah. Based on the Marvel Comics superhero team Avengers. Did you guys know that?
Barely, from the pictures.
So the game's going to be on Google Stadia, which is Google's new attempt at a video game console. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in 2020. So this is not technically based on the movie universe, the MCU. It's technically like a Marvel Comics thing, but they obviously drew a lot of inspiration from the films. Like, they're trying to base a lot of it off the films with their team selection and like kind of the way they look. Except the way they look has been the biggest discussion point from this trailer because
they're really taking the heat off of that Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
No joke.
Man.
Look, I don't know who these guys are, but they don't look like the Avengers to me. And I don't even know, like, how do you mess this up so bad? Because I get it, it's not supposed to be the movie. It's not actor likenesses. But, like, how does it still just not look like the characters?
Man,
you know what I mean?
It's like one of those old, like those old non-licensed games.
Yeah? They look like bootlegs.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, it's ridiculous. They look like, well, I've seen so many comments about how they look like stand-ins, or they look like stunt doubles, or they look like cosplayers.
Right.
I mean, that's legit what they look like. They don't look like the Avengers at all.
The cosplayers you see on the internet put a lot more effort into their, into their looks. Yeah.
And just like the designs just look strange too. Like you pointed out, there's something weird going on with Thor's beard.
Yeah.
Like that just looks super unnatural and weird. And like Black Widow's face looks mannish. And
I've seen a bunch of jokes about her looking like Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
And they kill me.
You pointed out that Steve Rogers has got 5 o'clock shadow for some reason.
Yeah, like why would he?
Also,
the Cap with a beard, fine. Cap clean shaven, better. But you know, Cap with 5 o'clock shadow, no. Cap didn't.
get out.
Sometimes Cap just don't care.
No, Cap didn't just roll out of bed and have to rush to this Avengers event.
Also, that's got to be the worst Captain America costume I have ever seen.
Dude.
I don't know what is up with that, but like, he's so bulky and clunky looking, and it just doesn't look like anything he would wear. I guess they were going for like the SWAT gear kind of thing, but it looks bad. It looks real bad, I think.
Man, it does. And why does it look bulkier than the Iron Man suit?
Yeah, yeah.
The Iron Man suit's like lean and you know, doesn't look like a good Iron Man suit, but it's interesting looking.
Right.
And Captain America's like way bulkier than him. It kind of looks like they were trying for the World War II era costume.
Yeah,
a little bit. But like, why would he? Like, even they don't do that anytime except that one movie. why are we there?
Yeah,
well, I guess 2 movies, but still.
No, like I say, I mean, they've got a year to make a decent game and actually give us some gameplay. And I'll still be hopeful that it'll be a fun-looking game. I don't have a lot of anticipation at this point. No, I have less now than I did before there was a trailer.
We live in the world of first impressions, bro. It's not. It's done.
That's the thing. Like, this has had some very negative attention since it was revealed, and it's been nothing but memes and complaints about how dumb this game looks.
Well, and that's the big misstep too, because I get that they wanted to show something at the big convention this year, and that it's coming out before the next big one, and so they wanted to get the hype building, but somebody had to watch that trailer and go,
close enough.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, somebody had to be in the background going, we got to tell the boss not to play this, don't we? Like, we're on the internet. We know what the internet's going to do to this.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, I like my favorite meme so far has been the Spaceballs one where it says, "You idiots, you captured their stunt doubles," and then it's just got that screenshot of them from the game. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes from here. I mean, like, they do have enough time. They might be able to change the looks, but I have no idea.
Well, and I
have no idea.
I think it looks kind of ridiculous, but in all honesty, again, if it's a fun-looking Avengers game and the cutscenes are kind of wonky, I'll still enjoy playing it. Well, so I don't need like a Sonic redesign or anything like that.
So but it's super. How do we not have like a cinematic Avengers movie? You know, like it's been the
video
biggest
game?
thing on video game. Well, like a movie, like video game based on the movies. You know, like it's been the biggest thing anywhere for like 10 years now. How is this the first, like, it's over and they're just now like, oh, here's this video game and it's terrible.
And it's like totally like, they didn't quite get there with it.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to compare it to is the Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Because that game nails it.
Yep.
It's not based on the movies. It does its own thing, but it looks good. And, like, you look at Peter Parker, and he looks like a Peter Parker. You look at Mary Jane, she looks like a Mary Jane. Who are these guys in this Avengers game? You know what I mean? Like they don't even look like passable versions of these characters. It's real weird.
This looks like it would have been acceptable in 2006 when nobody cared that much about any of these characters. But I mean, like you said, now they're the thing and have been for a decade, and as you know.
Well, it's that. What was that Fantastic Four movie that never got released?
The Roger Corman one.
Yeah, it's based off that version of the Avengers.
There was a Corman Avengers. Oh boy, we got to find it. I want to watch it.
Well, and to jump right into a different game, to contrast that, I mean, we've got that new Marvel Ultimate Alliance coming out in just a couple of months here.
Yeah.
And we watched the trailer for that, and it has clearly been inspired by or influenced by the movie universe. I mean, it's called The Black Order. It's got all of the Thanos villains there. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of stuff you could see that is inspired by the movie universe. However, there's also just an authentic looking Doc Ock. They've got
Magneto.
all the Magneto.
Yeah.
They've got all the other
Ghost
characters
Rider.
you can play as and that are as villains. And so it's like taking inspiration from the movie world. Because it had
was totally the Ian McKellen Magneto, right?
It totally
could be. Yeah.
Sounded like it.
Yeah, for sure sounded like him.
What the big Thor fire monster from Ragnarok?
Surtur.
Yeah, like Surtur was even in there. Like all this stuff from the movies
So was Hela.
in there.
Hela was in there too.
Oh yeah. But it looks comic booky. It's incorporating all of the actual like Marvel properties that aren't in the movie universe, or at least yet. Because they've already advertising X-Men involvement, Fantastic Four involvement, all that stuff.
I don't want to play that game unless it's got Jeff Goldblum in it.
Oh my god.
It's my birthday.
But point being, like, you don't have to be a licensed movie Marvel product to still look like you know that the movies exist. And the actual Avengers video game looks like it has no idea what it even comes from. You know?
You guys remember in the books when those were called the Infinity Gems, and now they're just always going to be the Infinity Stones because of the movies?
I forgot that they were called.
They were the gems, Because even this game, he called it the stone. Like Magneto talks about having an Infinity Stone in it. So
Well, I feel like I knew them as stones before the movies.
Nah, they were totally the gems.
Huh.
I'm almost positive they were gems, right?
I don't know. Gems? I couldn't say.
Okay.
I only remember the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really exist
outside
outside the Gauntlet to me. Yeah.
That's still a thing. I am really excited for Ultimate Alliance 3 though.
Yeah.
I haven't played an Ultimate Alliance game obviously in like a decade or more, but you and I, John, used to play Ultimate Alliance 2 when we were living together all the time.
Yep.
And I got to be Moon Knight in it, and it was awesome. But I'm really excited for this. This looks fun. Like, it basically looks like it picks up exactly... Like, the style looks the same as the other one.
Exactly.
So I'm totally into that. Like, and it's got co-op that's local co-op and stuff. So, like, we can even just sit on the couch together and play. We don't have to play online.
I'm sure you can still.
I'm sure you can probably, but I like it. Too many games these days don't have local multiplayer, and I kind of don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, I like being able to, like, hang out at a party and still play a game.
Yep.
And it sucks when you can't do that. So I'm excited for that one. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So Sony, speaking of, wasn't even at E3, so there's not really a lot to say about them otherwise. But Microsoft's big thing that I guess we should probably talk about because it's been getting a lot of buzz, and I think this is going to be on the PlayStation and Microsoft Xbox One. But Cyberpunk 2077 has been blowing up, right? Like everybody's talking about this trailer for this game. It looks gorgeous. Yeah. It's got the Keanu Reeves cameo in the trailer, so he's obviously in the game, which is kind of amazing. Yeah. He showed up like at the press conference at E3. Did you see that?
No,
like they showed that trailer, and then he came walking out on stage afterwards, and the place had a meltdown and lost their minds because Keanu Reeves was there. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's real cool. I don't know exactly what kind of game this is yet, because this trailer just looks like a movie trailer. And that's cool. Like, it looks really interesting, and I'm excited, but I can't wait to, like, learn more about this game.
Maybe it's just like a Dragon's Lair where you just hit a button every once in a while.
Oh, boy.
Play through the movie.
Yeah.
Play through the movie. I would love it'd be super cool if it was, like a role player, and, like, where you could build your character out a little more with the different
enhancements.
Hacks and enhancements, and
it really gives me kind of like a vibe of like Prototype or Infamous. Like it gives me that vibe, like watching the trailer. Now I don't know if that's how it's going to play. I really like those games too. Yeah. So I don't know if that's how it's going to play, or if it is going to incorporate more RPG kind of elements and stuff.
You get different upgrades and stuff. For sure.
But it's definitely caught my attention.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be watching for that for sure because that looks like it could be a lot of fun. And Keanu Reeves, man,
is he not just the coolest dude on the planet? Man? Like,
oh, you know what? There is a gameplay reveal here, and I don't know how I missed this. So I'm just gonna turn this on without the sound real quick so we can see. It's a first-person shooter. Did you guys just lose interest in it?
brings it down some.
It definitely brings it down some. I would say brings it down a lot. But
I should have watched this before we started talking about it.
Good notice.
Even with this in mind, I still really just want to go watch Johnny Mnemonic again.
So, nice.
It hasn't lowered that desire.
I mean, it does look really pretty though. Like the graphics look crazy good on it.
Is this where we start going?
Whoa! Yeah, this is where we react. This is our reaction part of the episode. Yeah, it looks like it's first person.
I did really like BioShock, so I can't hold it against all first person shooters.
That's true.
Dating my gameplay.
You can look, first person driving.
Like 2 years? 3 years?
Older than that, bro. Older than that. Well, this is still interesting though. I'll keep an eye on this. This might be a lot of fun. So the big thing, I guess, with those two companies, though, Microsoft and Sony, like 2020, we already know, is when we're getting the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, what they're calling right now, Project Scarlet. I don't know if that's going to be the final name for it or
Which
not.
I may actually buy an Xbox again.
If it's bright red.
Yep.
That's it. He's been waiting for a red one.
I'm just a big bull. That's all there is to it. I just want to put it on my mantle and get mad and charge into my TV.
Is it because they announced it's backwards compatible with every Xbox?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Because I got a bunch of first-gen Xbox games that I keep looking at going, I should go buy a new Xbox so I can play these at some point.
Yeah.
And I'll just buy a new Xbox.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's so unprecedented these days to like have a system that's backwards compatible even with the last generation.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're going out of their way to make this thing able to play Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and they're saying all games?
Yeah.
Like even the Xbox 360 was like very specific on which Xbox games it could play. So that's kind of incredible. And it almost makes you wonder if that's got Sony going, oh crap. We're going to need to do that too.
I got some old PlayStation games.
Because that would be amazing. Being able to do PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, and 4 all the way up through the 5, that would be incredible. So that is real good, big news for the... And that, honestly, like I never bought an Xbox One. I might spring for a Scarlet just because of that. Yeah. Because it instantly like increases your library of what you can play and... then you can get the new stuff too. That's amazing.
If that is how they advertise and it comes out that way, I will. I don't know if I'll buy it. I don't know if I'll wait in line launch day, but I'll have one within 6 months.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool stuff. So those both are supposed to be coming out around Christmas time 2020, which means next year's E3 is going to be both of these companies' big E3, right? So I think that's why they both kind of held back a little bit this year. But Nintendo, on the other hand, kind of just blew it up this year. Like I'm already a Nintendo fanboy, so fair warning. If you don't know me already, I love me some Nintendo stuff. But their press conference, or the Nintendo Direct is what they call it, was just bananas, man. Like just the stuff that they revealed was awesome. So let's just go through some of the things that got me excited in their kind of little countdown of stuff. Let's start real crazy with Contra Rogue Core. A brand new Contra game, which first of all is pretty awesome that we're getting a new Contra game. It's been a long time since we've had a brand new Contra. And this thing just looks balls to the wall ridiculous. Yeah. Just absurd. But like in a good way, kind of absurd.
Like fun,
you know what
absurd,
I mean? Like, I mean, you could be a panda with a gun, you could be like a bug with robot legs. I don't even know what's going on, but I know that I watched that trailer going, well, this looks fun and bonkers.
It looks like the old like Smash TV style gameplay or so kind of.
It did look like that.
Sort of a top down shoot in all directions type thing. And those are great party games.
I was gonna say
as is.
Well, this looks like it's gonna be a fun party game. Like you say, so you get together with a couple friends and just kill everything, as the trailer said. So that I'm in. I think that looks like a lot of fun. I'll be getting that. But when they oh, do you got something else?
Well, I was just gonna say that was the one. Like, so I like playing video games. I want to play video games. I never make the time to play video games.
It's hard.
So I struggle to justify buying. Like I'm still on PS3.
Right.
Never any Xboxes. And I have not been able to justify buying a PS4 because I just don't have time. I have time to play ever, and I've still got plenty of he has 3 games to play.
Mm-hmm.
Contra Rogue Corps made me go, ooh, I need a Switch.
Nice. Yeah. I'm gonna have both of you guys owning a Switch here pretty soon, and then
well, then John called it Contra Smash Bros style and
Smash
TV style, and I was like, yeah, you just sold it.
You just sold a Switch. Well, I hope it's awesome.
Call Best Buy.
He'll buy that for $1.
Right,
Yeah.
Call Best Buy for your commission.
Well, if that's a console seller, I hope it's good then.
Or
Or you're just gonna be like,
mad.
this is the worst thing ever.
Right.
I'm never playing another Switch in my life. After that trailer aired on their direct, they instantly announced that available immediately. You can get on your Switch right now and download the Contra Collection, which is just incredible. And we'll talk about this a little bit as we're going through this too. But one of the other things I really love about the Nintendo Switch right now is not only do I love all the first-party Nintendo games. I think there's been some good third-party games for the console. But that system has turned into like a really good source for retro gaming with just all the collections that have been released for it. Plus, there's just a bunch of old games you can download on there as well. And the fact that like that system's portable or you can play it on your TV, I feel like it's just so perfect for these retro games. So now we've got the Contra Collection, which includes like the original NES games, the Super Nintendo games. It's got the Famicom versions and the UK versions and the Game Boy game, just like all crammed on there. And shortly before this, they released a Castlevania collection that's got like all the Castlevanias, plus Kid Dracula's on there, which used to be a Japanese exclusive, and now they've got like a translated version, so for the first time ever. And I mean, it's awesome that you can just download all these retro games in these bulk collections for decent prices and just like have a retro gaming machine also at the same time. I love that. I think that's so cool.
Now, this is a total, I'm sure this is a terrible question because that system's been out for years anyway, but the portability of that thing, can you actually, like, take that out of the house?
I do.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be, like, near the console?
It's straight up a portable system. Yeah. I would consider it a little more fragile than like a DS that you could like fold up and stick in your pocket. But I've got like a little carry case for mine, and I take it on flights with me and stuff all the time. It's awesome. Like I love it. Yeah, and then it's cool too because that little dock is pretty easy to transport too if you really wanted to, and it just plugs in with an HDMI cable. So if you really wanted to, it's real easy just to go over to somebody else's house and plug that dock into somebody else's TV and put your system in it, and it's real cool. I love it for that. And it works great with especially all these retro games like this. It's perfect for that. So on those lines, they also announced Trials of Mana, or Mana, however you say it. I don't know. People argue over Mana and Mana, but you get it. Yeah. And this is special because this is like an HD remake of the Super Nintendo game that never came out in the US. So this used to be a Japanese exclusive Super Nintendo game, and they're doing like an HD remake now for the US. But on top of having that version, they also announced, again, available immediately right now on Switch's eShop, you can go download the Collection of Mana, which has the original Game Boy version of the Mana game, which is like Final Fantasy something.
I think it's Mana.
Okay, fine. Secret of Mana is on there. And then also the original Trials of Mana with English translation for the first time ever is on there. So it's like you can go download the original version in English for the first time, or you can buy this new HD one coming out in English for the first time. So I don't know. I love stuff like that. We've talked about that before. But like being able to play a game that was never available to us before is always really cool to me when they do stuff like that.
Yep. Well, this all almost kind of feels like Nintendo kind of trying to reclaim its throne. Because like it kind of fell out. Like PlayStation and Xbox took over the market, and Nintendo kind of fell off and struggled and couldn't keep up. And they were always there,
They've always been real big into doing their own thing. They're always kind of like, we don't really compete. We make the Wii.
Right. I was going to say, and obviously, I feel like before it was the GameCube. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like the GameCube just never.
It didn't. It was considered like a failure technically.
Right.
Like there's a lot of good games on the GameCube, but it was technically a failure.
Yeah, but then even the Wii was their own thing and was super successful.
Yep.
But it wasn't really for like gamers.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
It was for grandmas and grandpas.
They veered
and
for a
little
while.
kids.
Yeah,
totally.
soccer moms and
Totally.
And this, like, a lot of the stuff they're doing here kind of feels like they're like, hey,
They're back to the gamer
gamers,
stuff. Yep.
gamers, come back.
You're absolutely
we're ready
right.
for you.
You're absolutely right. That's totally what they've done here.
And that's a super, like I'm down.
Me too, man. I mean, the stuff they've been putting out has just been like, I can't keep up with all these games. Like I had to stop myself from going and downloading that Contra collection and that Mana collection immediately because I'm like, I don't have time to play these right now. There's no reason I need to spend the money right now. Like, they'll be there. I'll just get them when I can.
But how many people don't have that restraint? How many people just go Contra? Download
and it's
it.
available now. Boom, done.
How much are those collections?
They vary. So like the
between
Mana one,
$1 and $500.
yeah, I think the Mana one was $40. I think
American?
yes, I think the Contra one was $30.
Yen.
But
36
I want to
cents.
say they're usually between the $25 and $30 mark for some of them. Like I got the Mega Man Legacy collections. And so like it was like Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 like together. And that's like all the original Mega Man games 1 through 10, and I think that was $30.
Together?
Yes,
Nice.
they both came together.
Yeah.
And it was like $30 is I think what I paid for it. So, and the other cool thing is they put them on sale a lot on that eShop. So if you just kind of like hold out, you can get them for good prices.
Can you get the old? I mean, like with the Wii, you could just go on there and buy the old Nintendo games.
Yeah, so they haven't really done that yet.
Okay.
What they do have right now is they've got you have to pay now for their online service, but it's only like it's cheap. It's like $40 for the whole year or something like that. And that's so you can do all the online stuff. But what the bonus is for that is you get access to what they call like the Nintendo channel or whatever. And it's essentially like Netflix for old NES games.
Oh, nice.
And they keep adding stuff. Every month they add 4 new titles to it. So like you can just go on there and there's like a menu with all these NES games. And you can just pick one and play it.
Is a boy and his blob on there?
Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets there eventually.
Is Nightshade on there?
Nightshade's not on there yet, but...
Or you call me when you see those two.
Okay, I'll let you know. You can just come over and play them if you want.
Nope, Nightshade will
Nightshade will sell that and the online service?
Yep. That's a twofer right there. I'll buy both your things.
Nice. All right.
But I have to spend $400 to play this game that I already have on a system from 35 years ago.
Hey, no, I can't even laugh at that because I do that all the time. It's ridiculous. Every time a new version of a game I love comes out, I'm like, I gotta buy it again. And I don't know why. I just do it. I'm the sucker. I'm the guy. I'm the guy who's selling that.
You're the fanboy.
Yeah.
You're the fanboy, man.
It's fun. It's fun,
Yeah.
and you work hard for your money, and that's where you choose to put it.
That's right.
You're a grown man.
That's right. I'm a grown man. While we're speaking of remakes, I don't have a ton to say about this, but they showed an HD remake for Panzer Dragoon, which is an old Sega Saturn game, and I thought that was cool because that's just one of those things that I don't feel like anybody would see coming. It's like, why this? But okay, that's awesome.
Like that has been my favorite thing of like the next gen systems going back to the PlayStation 3 and the 360 when they started, and the Wii when they started doing those online stores, and every once in a while you just pop up and you're like, okay, for $15 I can get a brand new updated graphic version of The Secret of Monkey Island for no reason.
Yep.
And I'm gonna.
Yep.
And I'm gonna spend 9 hours playing this game and just smile the entire time.
Totally.
I get so much more excited about a lot of that stuff than I do about new games coming out.
They did that for Bionic Commando on the
360. You
and
loved that. Yeah,
I played that so much when we were
yeah, you were playing that nonstop.
Yeah, man, I was way into that. It was Rearmed, I think is what it was called.
Yeah,
it was
that sounds
basically
right.
like an HD remake of the old Nintendo Bionic Commando. It was amazing. Luigi's Mansion 3, they showed a trailer for. We knew that one was coming, but that looks awesome. That's basically a sequel to the old GameCube Luigi game, which
that was GameCube.
That was GameCube. It was the launch title for GameCube.
I never played not a single GameCube game.
No.
Ever. Not
you know what
one.
I played a ton on that system? Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I was
Simpsons
way
Road Rage.
Oh, Simpsons Road Rage. I played a bunch of that too. And also, what was the other one called? Hit and Run? Simpsons Hit and Run? That was the one that was like Grand Theft Auto style Simpsons. Yep. Oh my gosh.
Not even a single minute
Yeah.
ever logged. I don't think I've ever even touched one of their controllers. GameCube controllers.
Well, I'll tell you a GameCube.
You want me to bring you one?
No.
Just a controller so you can touch it?
Yeah. It could be an exclusive on the next episode.
Sharon touches his first GameCube controller. That's
Nowhere else on the internet will you get this.
It's true.
Well, I'll tell you a game on the GameCube I played way too much of, and I'm totally in love with it. Animal Crossing, and I'm getting a new Animal Crossing game, and I've been waiting for this. Look, I love the what are those? What's the genre of those games, like Sims or
something like
Life
that.
Sims or whatever they are. But I love games like that, and I kind of go through these modes where like I don't want to play those all the time, but then like I kind of crave like just the relaxing type of gameplay where it's like I'm gonna go around and build this house and clean up these weeds and go fishing.
I guess,
I love it.
I can't say hatred by any means, but I get enough real life in real life. When I'm playing video games, I want to shoot some cops.
I get that.
Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a thing. That's my.
They don't
thing.
have to be cops. They can be robots or criminals or whatever.
I log probably a whopping 20 hours a year on video games, and when I sit down to play a video game, I need jump into the action real quick, and I need it. I need to be stimulated for that hour or two, and then I need to shut it off and not have to. You know what I mean? Like shut it, not like
and I think
build some stuff and set some stuff up, and then I got to come back to it because it's this tree has to grow or whatever. No, hard pass. Hard pass, guys.
That is exactly my thing. It's like those games might be a lot of fun, but I have to. I can't blame adulthood or kids or any of that stuff because it's just the way my mind's been for probably 15 years. But like, I can't commit that much time to a game. There are games I can buy and play for 60 hours, but I can't go into something knowing it's going to take me 60 hours to do anything because I don't like. I want to be able to play for 2 or 3 and stop, and then if I can play for 2 or 3 more, cool, and if I can't, then that's fine too, and whatever else. And so like you said, it's like I need that stimulation and I need it there, and I need to be able to come in and out of it without feeling like I'm committed to growing that tree.
Right.
I get that. I get. I love these kind of things. I get through these phases.
Well, and we're not. I'm not dogging it. I'm just simply saying not my style.
I totally get that. I was gonna say like when I got way into Animal Crossing the first time around, it was ridiculous because I felt like I
remember vividly making fun of you for
man. No, you did. I heard a lot of people made fun of me for it, but I was so hooked on it. So like Animal Crossing, the way this game works is like whatever time it is in real life is what time it is in the game. Right. So it's like it follows like an actual clock. When it's winter here, it's winter there. So it gets real nuts because like there's like certain fish you can only catch during certain months at certain times of the day, and certain bugs you can only find at this time. Nope. And when you're trying to catch like complete collections, like you're just like, okay, I got to make sure I'm like able to get on my game, and it gets nuts, dude. Like I was seriously like, I got so into it that like I'd be at work just like, I can't wait to get home and go get to my town and go do this stuff. It was stupid, dude. It was real dumb. Yeah. But I was way into it for a long time. And then they came out with the DS version, which made things easier because I could just carry that thing with me all the time.
Easier is one word?
So I just had that with me at all times, and I was able to like flip it on.
Detrimental is another word?
Totally.
Yeah. You went through 3 jobs that year. How's your day, Dan? Got fired again.
It's okay, though. It's okay. I found 100 bells, though, in the ground.
Fell off the tarmac.
Yeah, fell off the tarmac. Oh, man.
So, everything you're describing, like, it definitely sounds, like runs on our clock.
Right.
And when it's winter here, it's winter there, and if it's day here, it's day there. What is night there? It's like that sounds like that's definitely like a cool system and like a cool baseline. I'm totally into that. I watched that trailer and I was bored watching the trailer.
I get it.
I know. And not judging you or anybody else who likes the game. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Please play it. Buy it. Play it. I hope it's the biggest game
You're
ever.
going to be able to do multiplayer in this one. We can have a whole bunch of people on at the same time. That's new and crazy. I don't know how that's going to work. You guys want to come over and come to my Animal Crossing town?
Can I just come over?
Yeah. But if we go to my town, we can.
I feel like that's another one of those things we're gonna hear about. People start to complain like oh, I got to go to this Animal Crossing party. Like you have a party where you go play Animal Crossing. Like no, I go play Animal Crossing and then I go to the party in the game. All my friends are gonna be there.
Guys,
we're gonna.
That's what they're all gonna.
We're gonna
like
dig up
raccoons.
100 bells. Like wow, that's.
They have parties like that in real life.
Can I come over, Dan, and have an apple juice with you? Like
I'm gonna call you guys and be like, guys, I really need some help pulling all these weeds and stuff. And you guys are gonna be like, what? Are you doing like a bunch of yard work or something? No, like in Animal Crossing. I got like these weeds are everywhere. Can you guys come over and help me pull them today?
But
no, I can't. For the record, if you ever called me to come over and help do a bunch of yard work, you might get hung up on. Like. Just so you know.
That's when you get mad because you can't slam a phone down anymore without breaking the screen.
You just yell "bam!"
But like I said, I'm in the exact same boat as you. Like I guess from a technological standpoint, that sounds neat. But like when it's winter in real life, I don't need winter in my video games. I just need to shoot cops. Or robots or whatever.
Right.
Just need to shoot cops. Oh my god. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I get it. I'm excited. All right. I guess the last few things we should talk about from the Nintendo Direct. They showed a lot of gameplay for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the HD remake of the original Game Boy game, and I am so excited for this one. I love that original Game Boy game, and I love that they're doing like an update to it, and I think the art design on the game looks so cool and so unique. They made it a little cutesy, but like it looks like friggin' toys, man. Like it looks like a big play set and little plastic toys walking around, and I just think it's so cool. And that's one thing that Nintendo does that I always totally commend them for. They always try these crazy unique art designs with a lot of their games.
Yeah.
And I think it's most of the time it's awesome. Like it turns out really cool. And it's one of those things too where like I've seen some people like kind of complain a little bit thinking it's too cute, but like, on the flip side, they're also doing like the Breath of the Wild Zelda games. So like you've got your like serious Zelda games, so we can also have these kind of fun and whimsical ones too. And I think they totally fit at the same time. I love that.
If your day is ending because the Zelda game looks too cute, you got issues, man.
I remember when Wind Waker was revealed on the GameCube and they switched to like that cartoon style and everybody just lost their minds, dude. Do you remember that one? Oh my gosh. And then that game ended up being awesome and everybody was like, no, it's a really good game. Never mind. We overreacted probably. Like we always do.
Right. Man. There's the deal. Like
that was the infancy of internet overreaction.
That totally was the infancy of internet overreaction. You're right. That was early on. But speaking of Breath of the Wild, they ended the Direct with a teaser that they're doing a sequel to that game, which is really cool because when you're talking about Zelda games, there's not too many Zelda games that have direct sequels. Like they've had a lot of Zelda games, but they've always kind of like stood on their own as their own story, not really related to the other games. Yeah. But like Ocarina of Time on the 64 had Majora's Mask. That was a direct sequel. And a lot of people are already kind of relating this to that because Majora's Mask kind of took this turn and it like had a bit of a creepier vibe to it. And this already looks like they're kind of doing the same thing. Like this trailer is real creepy. Like there's like zombies and stuff and the castle blasts off into the air or something. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to outer space or what's
Zelda in space.
Zelda in space. I can't wait.
In space.
I can't wait. So that's exciting news too.
It's never been done before.
You're right. It has never been done. I'm into it. Let's do it. Let's see what you got, Nintendo. But all in all, I was just very, very impressed with Nintendo's offerings. I'm excited.
Yeah, that Smash Brothers add-on.
Oh, the Smash Brothers. How did I even forget that? That's the thing everybody lost their minds about. So there was actually 2 Smash Brothers announcements. The first one was that they introduced the hero from Dragon Quest is going to be a playable character in Smash Brothers, and they showed it's actually like multiple heroes from the different Dragon Quest games. Usually what happens with that is that's the different costumes, different skins. Yeah. So you can play as all the different heroes from the Dragon Quest games. So that's cool. I've never really played a Dragon Quest game, but it's always cool and exciting when fans of those franchises get to see their representation in Smash Brothers. And that's the other thing I was kind of telling you. I think what's neat about Smash Brothers started out as that cool game where all the Nintendo characters came together in one game to fight, and now it's just at this point where it's any video game character can just show up in this. You never know. There's no rules anymore. Yeah. It's just Smash Brothers has become such a thing that all the video game companies are yeah, you can use my character in that game, because it's an honor to be in this game at this point. So it's there's no limits anymore, and I love that. And so fans are always rallying behind certain characters. And one of the ones that people have been begging for forever was their big surprise, and they revealed that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in Super Smash Brothers. One of the reasons this is a big deal is because they are a Rare character. Mm-hmm. From the Rare games. And we talked about this a little bit in the past.
There's hardly any of them out there.
So the company Rare. The company Rare made those games. And we talked about this a little bit in the past because Microsoft owns Rare now. So this is one of those cases, once again, showing how Microsoft and Nintendo have been playing nice a lot lately, because they released Cuphead on the Switch, and that was a Microsoft exclusive. So it's all of a sudden, Microsoft and Nintendo have had this awesome relationship where they're doing all this cross-promotional stuff. They had the announcement where you can play online against each other between Switch and Microsoft consoles, which is crazy stuff. So now we've got this where they've allowed Banjo-Kazooie basically to come home and be on a Nintendo system again. And that's amazing. And it's, of course, got that speculation out there. Does this mean we're going to get a new Banjo-Kazooie video game at some point? Because sometimes they do this as a promotional tool for a bigger project. They'll put something in Smash because they're working on something bigger. So you never know. Could be cool. Or we just got them in Smash, and either way, that's pretty awesome to see them back on a Nintendo console.
One step closer to more Conquer.
That's more Conquer, exactly. Yeah. They're from that same universe.
Yep.
Yeah, he's from that same universe. So that's cool. All right, I think that's all I got to say about Nintendo, but there's some other things from the show to talk about. We should talk about, we talked at length about the Sega Genesis Mini on one episode.
Yep.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the show, too. But this one came out of left field. Konami.
Way in left field.
Konami announced the Turbogrfx 16 Mini, or the PC Engine Mini, if you're in Japan, because it had a different name and a totally different look, and they're doing that same thing that Nintendo did, where they're releasing the different versions in the different regions, which is kind of amazing. So, following in the footsteps of Nintendo and then Sega, Konami, who purchased Hudson Soft years ago, that's why it's Konami doing this. In a surprise E3 announcement, the company's releasing a miniature version of the classic 90s Turbogrfx 16 console.
So you think Konami just showed up with a bullhorn? Did they release anything else? I haven't heard anything else from Konami.
Those Contra collections.
But that's all part of the Nintendo stuff. This isn't part of the Nintendo stuff, is it?
No, this isn't. This isn't part of the Nintendo. This was a separate announcement that came a day later.
Mr. Konami showed up with his Konami T-shirt and a bullhorn, and some of those signs, the Love Actually signs. Hey guys, I just want to let everybody know we're gonna do a Turbogrfx game. It's gonna have
He just walked up to a crowd and went Turbogrfx Mini, and then just walked away, and everybody went what? And that was it.
They just walked through on
they
the
didn't
bull.
go. They didn't go what? They went
what?
Cool. I haven't played Bonk in a really long time. Cool.
He just walked around in that bullhorn going up, down, down. Screw it. We're doing Turbogrfx.
Because he's just going up again. I like it. Good one. All right. So 6 titles have already been announced so far for the North American and European releases, which contains R-Type, Ys Book 1 and 2, New Adventure Island, Ninja Spirit, which is a really cool game, Alien Crush, which is that pinball game.
Oh, nice.
And Dungeon Explorer. And then the Japanese version
Heard
has
of
got
a
like
single one of those, man.
really.
No, not even one.
Ys Book 1 and 2 are like RPGs.
Yeah, maybe New Adventure Island sounds a little familiar.
You would know Adventure Island, I think, if you saw it. And R-Type's a shooter. It's like a spaceship shooter. And then Ninja Spirit is kind of like Ninja Gaiden. It's like a ninja game. It's actually really good.
Is it impossible like Ninja Gaiden?
It's not as hard as Ninja Gaiden, I don't think.
Then I like it. I like it. I want to play.
The Japanese version has a different list so far, which has Bonk's Adventure, Dracula X, also known as Rondo of Blood, which is a Castlevania game.
Oh.
Kung Fu China Warrior, Ys 1 and 2, Super Star Soldier, and Dungeon Explorer. So some of the interesting things to point out with this, the Ys games and Dracula X / Rondo of Blood are from the CD-ROM adaptation.
Gracious, there was a Turbogrfx CD, wasn't there?
Yep. So this is from the CD edition of the Turbogrfx. So it's interesting to note that they're including CD versions on this console.
I don't know. I got nothing.
I know it's weird. Because the Turbogrfx in North America went very unnoticed. Like, a lot of people missed out on it. It was way more popular in Japan as the PC engine. It was very popular. But it totally got overshadowed by Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis here. It kind of looked like the console that was just trying to be those other systems, even though it actually has a good library of games that we all missed, basically. So I'll be interested to see what all they end up including on this one. I can't imagine we're not going to get Bonk's Adventure.
Yeah, I'm a little offended they would come out with a teaser list and not put
Bonk's on there immediately.
Like, maybe we won't include the only game you've ever heard of. Maybe we will. Who knows? Maybe you got to go to Japan.
Here's the other thing. Castlevania Rondo of Blood or Dracula X has to be on there. It has to be, because it's a really good Castlevania game. It's one of those ones that everybody loves, and it's hard to get and hard to play here. Yeah. And this would give us a chance to actually officially own the game and play it. So if they don't put it on the North American release, that is a total missed opportunity, and I can't imagine them doing that. But
this whole CD-ROM thing has totally sidetracked every thought I've had.
Yeah.
Because I really want them. I really want there to be like a hidden port on the Genesis Mini, to where like a year from now they can just come out with like a Sega CD Mini that you actually have to plug into the Genesis.
Well, they better have a 32X Mini to plug into the top.
Absolutely. That's the year after. 2021, baby.
32X Mini.
Yep.
And then it would have to just include the whole library, because there wasn't very many games for the 32X. So it'll just be like
12 games.
Includes every 32X game.
Like that one Star Wars game. And that one Spider-Man game.
Including the only 2 good ones and all the others that we had.
You don't have to buy that particular add-on. You can just get it from like a cereal box tops. You can just mail them in.
I was going to say, if it's anything like the original, it'll be like $1 in a clearance bin the year after it comes out.
But this gets me excited for like the 3DO classics and the Jaguar classics.
The Lynx.
The Lynx was the portable one, right?
Yeah, that was the portable one. Yeah.
I am a little surprised they don't have like a Game Boy Classics.
It's shocking, and I wouldn't put it past them to do something like everybody else is going. We can't wait till the N64 Classic. Watch them bamboozle us and do a Game Boy Classic instead. Man, dude, it's crazy that they're just doing all this. But you know what? I'm gonna buy this.
I can't believe.
I'm gonna. Oh
yeah, for sure. No matter, I don't know, man. Like if Bonk's not on there, then I don't feel like I can. But
it doesn't.
But there's no way it's not gonna be on there.
It doesn't say how many games are gonna be on it, so I don't think they've told us that.
Well, they're probably still trying to find enough to put on there to justify people buying it.
No, that's it. We're done at 6.
That's it. 6 games. It's $70. Ugh.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's no pricing yet. No release
I'm gonna get
details.
it. I've just decided I'm gonna collect all the mini game systems now.
Not the PlayStation,
that's my
right?
thing.
But not the PlayStation.
Not the PlayStation, right? I don't know. If you're just looking for the complete collection, I think you can get one for like $18.
I was gonna say you get one of those.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You can leave here and go to Walmart and probably get one for a $20 bill.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't believe that. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. I think the last thing I wanted to talk about from E3 are all of the arcade 1-up reveals.
Can I bring up that we just had this conversation? Like, we had this conversation about about arcade games you hoped they were going to make.
Man.
And then
they did it.
Yeah, like that Sunday you emailed us and you were like, guys, they made both the games I talked about.
Yeah. Basically.
I willed these into existence.
Well, that's what I always said. I was like, the day they come out with the Turtles one, that's it. I mean, like, there's not even any question. I'm for sure buying that. I don't even care.
Right.
So, yes, the arcade 1-up machines, I've really been loving them. I think they're so fun. I have the Rampage one. I got it for Christmas, and I love it. It's awesome. It's just like a weird miniature version of the arcade game, the actual arcade machine, but it's super fun. Spencer and I love playing it together, and I think that's part of the reason I like it so much. But like, ever since I got that, I just kept thinking about the possibilities for it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, man, they started out with some of these like real basic arcade games, but like, all it took was for those to be successful, for them to really start ramping up like the selections for these. And sure enough, man, like the second series that came out was already a good selection, because they've got one out right now that's got Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 on it, which is kind of amazing. They've got one out that I've really been thinking about buying that's got Strider, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Final Fight on it. It's like a Capcom machine, and that's a good selection of
Final
games.
Fight.
Yeah, so I've been real close to picking that one up. But then these announcements came out. So at E3, they revealed that they're doing a Ninja Turtles cabinet that includes both the original arcade game and Turtles in Time. And it's the first 4-player cabinet they've done. So even though it's still going to be the smaller size, I think they did say it's a wider, you can see it, it's a wider joystick console area. So that's awesome. And man, look, the artwork on that machine alone is reason for me to want to own that thing. Because I remember going to the arcades and just like staring at the crazy artwork on that machine, man. And oh my god, I just
like the live action April.
The live action April and the live action Shredder wearing like the cardboard friggin' armor.
They're so bad, man.
And then all the cartoon turtles around them. It's so dumb, and I love it. Like, oh my god. And so that alone is just amazing to me.
I remember staring at it at Shakey's Pizza.
Yeah, Shakey's Pizza. I remember it being at Strike and Spare. Because my mom used to be on like a bowling league, and I used to just go with her and hang out in the arcade the whole time, and they had that there.
Aladdin's Castle.
Aladdin's Castle, yep, they had that, man. So the other machine they announced is a Marvel machine, and it's not quite what I was hoping for, because I wanted X-Men, the arcade game, which was a beat-em-up like Turtles. But instead, we're getting Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom. Both of those are fighting games, Capcom fighting games, which you pointed out, they're like the precursor to the Marvel vs. Capcom series, or the Marvel vs. Street Fighter series. So they're both very good Capcom fighting games, but then it's also got the Punisher on there, which is that amazing beat-em-up. That's such a good game. And I think one of the things that's unique about that is I think that's the first like actual official home port of the Punisher arcade game that's ever been released. I think there was a Sega Genesis version, but a lot of times when arcade games came to the consoles, they weren't quite the same as the arcade games. So I think this is one of the first times they've ever ported that Punisher game as the arcade game to home. So like, I'm real tempted by this machine too. Like that's amazing. But the Turtles one, I am for sure buying. There is no doubt about it. I don't remember if I included pop-ups everywhere. I don't remember if I included whatever, Forbes. Thanks, Forbes. Yep. Don't go to Forbes.com for your news.
I like Forbes.
I don't think I showed you guys
There was a link in there.
Because I wanted to show you these too, because they also announced these after they announced... let me find it. Dun, 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 dun. So they announced arcade stools also at E3 that are like, it's meant to, like sit in front of the arcade machines. I don't know why they're not pulling up here. But they have licensed ones, and they have a Ninja Turtles one to go with the Ninja Turtle arcade game. And I can't believe none of the pictures are pulling up here. But you guys are just going to have to take my word for it. Yeah. They have stools, like arcade cabinet stools that are coming out.
Dream that?
You can't
just will everything.
I was so excited. I'm just like dreaming about all the things they might be doing.
What was the Star Wars link?
So the Star Wars one is the last announcement that they made. This was like towards the end of E3. They did one final big announcement, and that's that they're doing the original Atari Star Wars arcade as a cabinet as well. It's got...
That's the one where you fly it, right?
Yes. It comes with the original arcade versions of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and it's got the actual like steering wheel, like specialized controller that the original Atari game have. So this is the one with like the vector graphics and everything, but it's amazing. It's like it was the first game where you really got to do like the Death Star trench run with the X-wing and do the shooting.
So let me tell you about my story for that game.
Okay.
Because
look at that.
That's crazy.
And it comes with its own like a Star Wars booster for it too, in case you want it to be the.
It comes with that.
Yeah.
No, you have to buy that separate, I think, because they sell boosters for the other ones too, but they're just black boosters, and that's so that you can make it like normal arcade height if you want to.
Yeah.
The one I have, I just have a chair in front of.
In case you're taller than 4 feet.
Right. So I just sit in front of mine with a chair, and it's totally fine. But I love that they've got that as an option. So. All right, go ahead with your story. Sorry.
So no, when I was young, we took this trip, and we were pretty poor, so we didn't take trips often. But it was like the first time my mom took us on a plane, and we flew out to Arizona. And when we were in Arizona, when we were coming back from Arizona, they had that video game, the Star Wars game, and it was like in a. Like it was like one like you sat in and it had like a canopy on it and stuff, you know. Like you got
the sit down one.
like you got all the way in it.
Yep.
And I had like, you know, one game to play, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then we had to jump on the plane. Never ever saw that game again. And like for a while, had convinced myself that it was one of those things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that didn't really exist. You know, like I remember that, but that was something else. Like I convinced myself that game didn't really exist. Because like I remember talking to people. I remember asking, not that they're experts, but like the people at Aladdin's Castle, like, hey, are you guys ever going to get that Star Wars game? Because it was awesome. And they were like, what Star Wars game?
What? We don't what like, Star Wars game?
You know, I was like, and then I'd tell them the story, and they were like, that's not a thing. And I was just like, maybe that's not a thing. So like I feel vindicated.
Look at the artwork on that cabinet too. Oh my gosh, man! See, it's gonna be real hard not to buy that one too. Just be like this is what's hard about
your wall is just gonna be an arcade.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm just gonna have to have an arcade room, guys. We're just gonna have to figure. I don't know where I'm gonna put all these things.
We're gonna have to cancel this show so you can use this studio.
Yeah, exactly. But that was the other thing they announced, which I thought.
Over here all the time.
Oh no. Our friend Crime Fighter. That's right. They announced a couple. What's the word I'm looking for? I was just on the tip of my tongue.
Stools.
The cocktail cabinets.
Oh.
You used to play that Miss Pac-Man one all the time.
Oh,
they're the ones that look like tables.
Table.
So they're doing some cocktail cabinets.
Oh, which
also.
ones? I want them.
Had it. Oh, I think it's on the same article here.
Is Miss Pac-Man one of them?
Pac-Man is one of them.
Not Miss Pac-Man?
Not Miss Pac-Man. I don't think. Where did it go?
Oh,
here
pictures.
it is. Oh, yeah. Hey, look. There's some of the stools I was talking about. There's the Pac-Man ones.
There's like 6 games on there.
So it's...
Pac-Man,
Pac-Man. Pac-Man Plus... Is Miss Pac-Man? Yeah, Miss Pac-Man's totally on there, right?
One of those got to be Miss Pac-Man.
There you go. Pac-Man, Pac-Man Plus, Pac and Pal. Nope, it's not. Pac-Mania, Galaga, Dig Dug
on there,
Pac-Man, and Pac-Land.
Miss Pac-Man?
Galaga, though.
Yeah, Galaga.
You know why? Because they'll be able to sell a Miss Pac-Man one by itself.
Yeah.
It'll have Centipede on it.
Then I gotta own 2.
How awesome is that, though, too? Oh, my gosh.
Is that the only one of those?
So they're doing this one, too. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter, all the Street Fighters, basically. The Final Fight is on there, 1944, Ghosts and Goblins, Strider. Maybe I'll just buy that one instead of
That's a cool one.
Man, yeah, that's a really cool one.
That's amazing. Oh, my God. Look, I love everything this company is doing, man. This is just amazing.
Have they announced the Dragon's Lair yet?
It is supposedly that's one of the big rumored ones, and you know what else is rumored?
What?
Tron.
Space Ace?
Tron is rumored.
Tron or Discs of Tron?
Will they both
be on there?
I hope they would do both.
Oh
right?
My goodness!
I would imagine they would do both.
I need an arcade.
Because Tron would be another one that I'd have a hard time not buying. Like that would be amazing to have that one. Okay, I was coming over to their.
Ooh, Al's Toy Barn. What's that?
This is different.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter right
they
now.
keep
Sorry.
coming out with these. Do they make triple-decker bunk beds?
You're gonna need somewhere else to sleep. So.
Yeah. Well, I need somewhere else
Stack
to
your kids up.
I need to put my other kid in the room with the first.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video on how to build a triple.
Oh yeah, I'm good then.
Bed.
We're straight. Is that golden tea?
All right, let's. Oh, I think that's one of the ones they did. I think they did a golden.
They did
tea.
a golden tea?
Yeah, totally. Oh, there they are! I found them. There's the turtles one.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
I'm into it, man.
Like I'm not
into
gonna rush out and buy one,
Into
but I
it.
feel like the golden tea is kind of a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
that's a great like party
Yeah.
game. Like just
Well,
hang around and.
And it also that introduced the trackball too, which means there's totally a lot of other games they can release that would need that trackball.
Have you seen those those golden tea stuff like they'll put in places with a trackball, but it's like beanbag toss.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
no, really?
Yep.
Beanbag
there are
toss.
cornhole video games out there.
Oh, of course there are. Amazing. Yep, I love everything Arcade 1-Up's doing, and I don't know where I'm going to put all their machines, but
How much are those things?
They vary. So the Rampage one I got was $300, although I think it was on sale for $200 at the time. I don't know. It was a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
But they've definitely got down to like $200 at Christmas time. The Turtles one is going to be $350 because it's got the 4-player controller on it, but normally they're $299, I think. So
Okay.
they're awesome. They're so cool. If you got the money for them, they're really good. They're really well done. All right. Well, I think that pretty much takes care of everything I wanted to discuss from E3. Was there anything else that was a standout from that you guys wanted to bring up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of fan questions, and Jaron picked them out for us to discuss today, I think. So, guys, if you want to ever ask questions for the show, head on over to our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com and type in the Geek Easy Podcast, hit that like button, and use that page to post your questions. I usually put up a thread before we record, and we always grab a few to answer here on the show. So what do you got for us?
Okay, the first one follows along everything else we've been talking about.
Perfect.
And it is from Ram Jam.
Our pal Ram Jam.
Hey guys, what do you think of the 42 games of the Sega Genesis Mini, and do you guys plan on buying one? Keep up the good work. Thanks, Ram Jam.
Well, I think we all know we're buying one.
Yep.
We are way into this one.
So we
If I
talked.
don't, my kid will never talk to me again.
We talked about this before they announced the final 10.
Which ended up being the final 12.
Final 12, right.
They did 2 bonus games on top of all
What are the
this.
2 bonus? I don't think I heard those.
Because originally it was supposed to be just 40 games, and now I think it's 42.
Right.
Okay.
They released 2 bonus games. So I don't think this is in order here, so I don't know what the new ones were that they just announced. Because we talked about a lot of the games that were on here already.
I think that Road Rash was new. I think towards the bottom there. I think
Yeah,
they might be in
It
order.
might just be in order.
They're looking
Yeah,
order.
So-
I think it's those last 2 lines. I think.
Right.
It's the
Okay, so Virtua Fighter 2.
Which is a big game. I loved that game. I play, that's one of the games I played too much in the arcade.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Kid Chameleon seems like a big
Kid Chameleon was a good platformer type
Yeah.
game. Elysia Dragoon, I never played that. Light Crusader. Columns, which is like a Genesis, it's always on every compilation they do. Dynamite Heady's a lot of fun. I don't know if you've ever played that, but that's just like one of those action platformer kind of games.
It's kind of bonkish.
He throws his head as his weapon. Strider is awesome.
Strider's a great game.
Great Sega game. Road Rash 2.
I know Strider. I know I played it.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the feeling that I liked it. The cover looks very familiar. I cannot remember the gameplay to save my life.
Oh, it's a great classic Sega Genesis game. I'll have to pull it up and show you. You'll know it when you see it. Road Rash 2 is awesome.
I played a lot of Road Rash 2 because that's the one where you get weapons and stuff.
Yeah, the chain and
man,
stuff.
yeah.
You can whip guys and stuff like that. Eternal Champions was like a fighting game.
Eternal Champions. Oh, I loved
You
Eternal
liked it?
Champions.
Okay.
It was like the big announcement. Like when I was reading through the list, I was like, "Ooh, Virtua Fighter, awesome!
Nice.
Ooh, Strider, Road Rash, too cool. Eternal Champions." I'm so
You're in on
yeah.
that's it. That was the system seller for you.
Yeah. It was already sold because Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim.
That's the system seller.
And Wily Wars. That's what
Yeah.
got me. Wily Wars. There's Strider. Do you remember Strider?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I pulled up a
Totally,
video.
yeah. I do think it's funny that it's a complete playthrough, and the video looked like it was 20 minutes long.
It's 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Apparently, somebody can play through it in 20 minutes.
Some of those speed runs are ridiculous,
Yep.
man.
Yep. Light Crusader, I think I already mentioned. Monster World 4. Now, this is another really good get for the system because Monster World 4 was never released in the United States. It was a Japanese exclusive. So, this is another case of Sega giving us a game in the US for the first time, which I think is just so awesome they're doing stuff like that with this system. You know, we had that with Mega Man, Wily Wars. Now we've got it with Monster World 4. Then we got the 2 bonus titles, which is Darius and Tetris. Tetris is another big one, and it's just Tetris, okay, but it's the Sega version of Tetris, and the reason that's special is because it got recalled originally because of crazy licensing stuff with Tetris. So there's literally a handful of copies known about that have been out in the wild. Like, I think you can count on 2 hands how many are actually out there in the wild. So this is like an official release of Tetris.
Yeah. So this is big because now there are 10 or fewer people out there who don't have a collector's item anymore.
Well, the physical version will always be always be valuable, but now anybody that just wants the Sega version of Tetris has the Sega version of Tetris. So, I mean, I think stuff like that is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think the thing that's so great about the Sega Genesis Mini is it's an amazing, like, total package. I mean, it's got the games on there you would expect to be on there. Plus, they added a bunch of really good games on there that they didn't necessarily have to. And then they went the extra mile by giving us games that were never released here before. It's like, it's just a win-win all the way through. There is no reason not to buy this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did a good job because I mentioned, I was a Sega kid. I was a Genesis kid specifically.
Yeah.
And so I've got 2 or 3 Genesis Sega collections already, and this one is still a must-buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I see so many games on here that I've always kind of wanted to play and never got a chance to. And I'm excited. Like Castlevania Bloodlines I want to play. I'm super excited about the Mega Man Wily Wars, obviously. Now I'm excited about Monster World 4. I mean, there's a lot of games on here I'm for sure going to play.
We definitely have to have a Toe Jam and Earl party.
Toe Jam and Earl party?
I've not been able to play Toe Jam and Earl since I was old enough to drink. So that's a thing that has to happen.
So when I first got my Wii and they first released the Virtual Console, that was one of the first games available to download, and because I was like so excited about being able to download old games, I downloaded that, and I had never played it before. I did not know what the heck I was doing. I turned that thing on, and I was just like, what is this? What is going on here?
That game's bananas.
So I'm going to have to give that one another go sometime, because I gave up on it real fast, not knowing what was going on.
Well, you got to run around and collect stuff, and then find the spaceship and fly. You fly to the next world, right?
It's something like that.
Something like
Isn't there
that.
like a phone booth or something?
I played a lot of that
elevator,
game. I played
maybe?
a lot of that game.
I
love that game.
I just know it's weird. But I will give it another go.
Yep.
There's a lot of good games here. So, yep, we're excited.
Okay, next question from Pat Keating. Thoughts on the rumor of X-Men the animated series being revived on Disney Plus? I'm not sure. I think we talked a little bit about that, but we can.
I can't remember if we brought that up on the show or just talked about it when we were together. But did you
I
hear
don't
that?
remember hearing anything about
Oh,
it. So.
Okay. So
well, let's
here we
bring it
go.
up.
News to
then.
me.
Hold on,
Also,
let me
this
finish.
question came after the last time I checked on our questions. Apparently.
Yep. So well, let's go ahead and talk about that but there's a second half to the question.
Okay.
Okay, so what?
I loved the '90s X-Men. I'll watch more of it.
Like, are they just putting
the news is that the team behind the original series have approached Disney with a pitch to revive the show on Disney Plus, picking up exactly
new episodes,
picking up exactly where the old show left off.
Because I'm excited enough about the prospect of the old show being on Disney Plus.
Well, yeah, me too.
Wasn't the old show on Hulu now?
I don't know.
Not that I've noticed.
I don't think so.
If it is, I gotta go.
Maybe not. I remember. I feel like I remember on one of the streaming services, it was on there.
That's because I've been wanting to find the '90s Spider-Man series, and I can't find it anywhere on streaming. So I hope that shows up on Disney Plus at some point. But
I mean, heck, I don't know. I mean, as I said, it could be Fox and Disney and whoever owns the rights are both
here it is.
part of Hulu. at some point.
Right,
But they both
right.
have stuff on Hulu.
Danny's pulling up the article.
I'm pulling up the
for
news
everybody.
article. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah,
I let the dead air fall.
For all you audio listeners,
The
the video viewers can see the back of Danny's computer as he does that.
Yeah. All right, so the team that brought forth X-Men the Animated Series is reportedly trying to make a comeback. According to a report, the creators behind the series that spanned much of the 90s is currently working to put together a pitch for the team at Disney. The report quotes X-Men artist Larry Houston.
I thought I remembered it being way more definitive than
Yeah, I know. And I know
like
that this
some guys have an idea
This popped
that
up
they
on-
might want to put together an idea
right,
to
and when
discuss
these,
with
you
some
never
people.
know with these things,
Yeah,
right? Like that could go nowhere, or that could be a thing that totally
Yeah.
happens.
I mean, bottom line, this isn't going to sell the Disney service because I've already bought it.
Right.
You know?
Because I've already bought
Yeah,
it.
but this will be another thing I watch on it.
For sure. All right, so let's do the second half because the second half is fun. Personally, I need another season of the '90s Spider-Man animated series.
Yes.
Danny.
Yes.
This is back to the question, by the way. But here's the kicker. What childhood cartoons would be on your short list for revivals?
Oh man,
I got two.
go for it, man.
My two. One. Captain Bucky O'Hare.
Bucky O'Hare, yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Bucky O'Hare
Loved that
fan.
show. That show almost not like it didn't replace, but like that show almost followed up Ninja Turtles
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
But then it just went away.
Oh man, yeah, it was only one season.
Right.
It didn't make it very far. But yes, I love Bucky O'Hare. Love it.
Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons.
Pirates of Blackwater.
Oh,
Loved that.
I forgot you had a
Dark
sec
Water.
one. My
Pirates of
yeah.
Darkwater.
Darkwater.
Hey, I forgot you had a sec one. My apologies.
What was the name? It was Pan. It was Pan and the Pirates. What was his name?
You're talking
Because it was somebody on the Pirates of Darkwater.
Man, that was a great show.
That was a great show. I
Yeah.
only remember Pirates of Darkwater. I loved that show.
I know his name, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember it right now.
I think it was just the Pirates
Is
of
it
Darkwater.
Ren? Was his name Ren?
Ren
I thought
sounds
it was
right.
something and the Pirates of Darkwater, but it's
Just called the Pirates of
I guess I'm wrong.
Darkwater.
I guess I'm wrong.
I can't remember his name though, so I'm gonna look it up real quick. Do you remember Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates?
Yeah,
I don't know
loved that.
You just reminded me of that.
I remember that show.
It was like a Fox
Loved that.
Peter Pan show because Tim Curry was Captain Hook on that show. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I don't remember that part. But
I'm pretty sure.
No,
it
you're
was.
thinking
Yeah,
of
Ren. I was
Muppets
right.
Treasure Island.
Ren
Good
is
job.
the main character on Pirates of Darkwater. Muppets Treasure Island. That is what I'm thinking of.
So I loved that show.
Well, you brought up
you
Spider-Man, so that's something I would love to see.
Pat brought up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fox's Peter. I would like the idea of a.
I do remember that show. Sorry, I do remember
Tim
Fox's
Curry
Peter
is the
Pan.
voice of Captain
Nice.
James Hook.
Wow,
Yeah, that show
I do
was
remember
awesome. I
that.
loved that cartoon.
I would love to see what Captain N the Game Master looks like in today's landscape.
Oh my God, I'm so
Captain
look-
Switch.
Captain Switch. Except now we live in a world where he could actually cross over with like Captain
Exactly.
PlayStation and Captain
Yeah.
Microsoft. And they're not all fighting each other anymore. They're all friends now.
Captain
His belt
Genesis.
buckle would
Genesis.
look real stupid now, though.
It's just got the whole system on it.
Captain Genesis is always trying to one up everybody.
I was gonna say, can like Captain Genesis like show up from the past and like hate Captain Switch, and
With-
like Captain Switch has to be like, no, we're all friends now.
With the Sonic from the trailer. I'm not with him, guys.
I'm not with him. Who is that? That's modern Sonic.
I can do
Me,
everything.
That's
yeah.
all in this world.
I can do everything you can do better.
Yeah, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Oh man, we'll see if anything. That question brought up some awesome memories of cartoons.
Yeah.
So I thought that.
Well, I used to. Oh, the hour in the mornings was Captain N right after Camp Candy.
Camp Candy.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
We're not getting a revival of that, though.
Probably not.
All right, so I'm adding another question that popped up since I picked them earlier.
Yeah.
But it's gonna lead into another question.
Okay.
Okay. Jamie Mayers asks if John Cena and The Rock were added to the Masters of the Universe cast,
Oh my God. No.
what characters would you like them to play?
Okay. Could John Cena be anybody but He-Man? I mean, he's like...
In that universe, I feel like he could be anybody.
I feel like he's getting to the point where he'd be a great Man-at-Arms.
Man-at-Arms. Oh my God, could you picture him with that mustache? Like, especially with the hair he has now? Oh my God, yes. John Cena's Man-at-Arms. For sure.
Or Ram Man. Right?
I don't know, He-Man.
He feels a little tall for Ram Man. I guess maybe they can give him like the Gimli treatment or whatever and just digitize him down.
Digitize him, make him small. Who would The Rock be? Oh my God.
Again, like, those guys look like they fell out of that comic book anyway, so anybody?
I mean, he's a little... Like, he's too big of a... I feel like he'd be like... Beastman or any... Like, The Rock would just be so fun as any of the random side villains.
I was about to say, what if he played a Beastman, but they just turned Beastman into, like, Gronk from The Emperor's New Groove?
The problem is if The Rock is Beastman, then the movie would just be called Beastman and the Masters of the Universe because he would be the star.
And then they decide not to make it, and they
and
just make a Beastman movie.
Beastman movie starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Oh my God. I don't even know. All right. So that question kind of leads into...
That's fun.
Yeah, I liked that question. But this one, it leads into this one. Because Joshua Kindle Cascio, sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing your name, but thank you for listening, asked, hey, what's your casted pick for Skeletor in the Masters of the Universe 2021 movie?
Frank Langella.
That was my answer. Frank Langella again. That's what I want. Because he was awesome.
Ready for me to blow your mind, John?
Yep.
I already blowed Danny's mind.
You told me this.
You blowed it good?
Just wait.
David Tennant.
David Tennant as Skeletor.
How amazing would that be?
I would be in for that.
Yeah.
It would be a different kind of Skeletor, but you know what? That sounds like a good kind of different Skeletor. Yeah. Like, I always, like, I'm so torn on how I want my Skeletor to be in this movie. Because, like, to me, Skeletor is the yes, He-Man! And I kind of want that silly voice. But, like, I love Frank Langella's portrayal, too. You know, he was more sinister, and I like that. So it's hard for me. I don't know. As long as he's got a skull face, I guess. You know? And he better be an actual, like, I do want him to be a bad guy. Like, because I think the 2003 series did a good job of, like he still had the high-pitched voice from the original cartoon, but he was more like a villain in that show. He wasn't like a bumbling... Like, in the Filmation cartoon, they were all buffoons, right? Yeah. So you could still do the nasally voice, but make him a bad guy, and that's what I would love to see if they could pull that off in a movie, but I don't know.
I feel like David Tennant would bridge that perfectly. Yeah. Because he's got a very distinctive voice, you know, and you could make it... You could bring the pitch up a little bit, make it a little more high pitched, and he's going to take on a little bit more of a cartoonish quality. And he's got that right kind of energy where he can kind of be, he can be a little goofy, almost cartoony, a little over the top, but still be threatening also. You know, so I feel like he'd be a great update, a great 2021 interpretation
or whatever year that movie comes out.
Whenever that movie comes out, of Skeletor.
Remember how scary he was as the Purple Man? Because that was a scary villain. On the flip side, if we turn that pitch up a little bit higher on David Tennant's voice, he could be a great Orko. Remember when he was Fugitoid in the Ninja Turtles cartoon?
Yes.
Yes. Now he could be Orko too. See, look, I turned that all the way around, and we could be the goofiest character, or we could be the villain. David Tennant's got range.
He's a good actor.
He's got range.
They could digitize David Tennant, and he could just play every character, and I would go see that movie.
Masters of the Universe, starring David Tennant and Noah Centino and David Tennant.
Noah Centino turned into David Tennant as He-Man.
Noah Centino as Adam. David Tennant as He-Man. All right, somebody make us a movie poster. Stat. I want it.
David Tennant and Noah. Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Also starring Jeff Goldblum for no reason. Jeff
It's
Goldblum
my
is Orca.
Yes.
It's my birthday.
No, can he be
King Randor.
yeah, King Randor. That's what I was gonna say.
Jeff
He's just-
Goldblum is King Randor. We made the best He-Man
best,
movie
yeah.
just now. Hollywood will not do it better than that. I promise.
David Tennant, Jeff Goldblum, Noah
Centineo, or whatever it is.
and guest starring John Cena as Ram Man. In.
And then wait for the spin-off movie for The Rock as Beast Man.
Yeah.
Wandering Eternius.
The Masters of the Universe cinematic universe.
We've already done it better than Hollywood ever will. That's it right there. That's the movie.
We have a great show.
Oh my god.
Ready for the final question?
Final question.
Let's
do it.
From Chris Kaminsky. Having grown up watching wrestling from 80s to now, who are some of the performers that you didn't really appreciate how good they were until you became workers yourselves? For me, Mr. Perfect, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Ted DiBiase are just a few of the heels who I disliked as a kid, but as an adult really appreciate how good they were at making others look like $1 million. From ring psychology to pacing and storytelling, who do you feel are amongst the best from their respective eras? Interested to hear your picks. Thank you, Chris. I love this question.
It's a good question. And also, man, like you just came out the gate with like Mr. Perfect and Ted DiBiase, because those would absolutely be on my list of characters that I didn't really pay much attention to as a kid outside of who they were. Well, like Mr. Perfect specifically, man, like when I first started wrestling and when I was training, I loved watching Mr. Perfect. I loved watching Mr. Perfect. I liked a lot of the early Shawn Michaels stuff, too, that I don't think I really paid a lot of attention to as a kid.
Yeah.
But Perfect specifically is a big one. Also, as a guy who plays a heel character a lot, I really looked at Roddy Piper a whole bunch. Because he's another guy, like, you know, I always remember Piper being there, but boy, I really appreciated Piper as an adult wrestling fan and going back and watch. I love Piper, man.
So I had a kind of alternate experience with Piper.
Really?
Yeah, because I never really cared about Piper at all, and then when I first became a worker, I was like, ooh, Piper. And then as I've grown and like whenever I'm like, oh, I should go watch a Piper match, I'm like, what? No. Ugh.
Yeah.
Get him out of the ring. Give him a mic. Get him out of the ring. What are we doing?
Give him a mic and get him out of the ring. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're totally right about that, because a lot of the stuff I did love about him is just his promos and like his charisma and everything is off the charts, right? Like I love that aspect of him.
For sure.
Not
that he's not a great performer. I'm not saying he's not a great performer, but man, what he does, getting it done in the ring, is not why he's a great performer.
Other guys that like I super didn't care about as a kid, but like went back and really appreciated wrestling. Another big one for me would be Ric Flair. Because when I was a kid, I was just like, "Who's this old guy and why is he in the ring?" I didn't get it. You know what I mean? And like I don't know why, but he always looked 100 years old to me, even when I was a kid.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you go back and watch old Crockett stuff when he was like in his 30s. He looks like a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, dude. He always looked like an old man, always. But man, Flair's awesome.
Flair was my first inkling of enjoying a heel. Like when he went like 2-30 in the Royal Rumble and won, like because that was when I was in that mix because what was that 92?
92.
Okay, yeah. So I would have been like 12,
right,
or something like that. And that was when I was still in that frame of like I was still watching it as like a total like fan. So like the good guys were the good guys and the bad guys were dastardly, and why would anybody root for those? Right. And then I watched Ric Flair do that, and part of me just went, that was amazing. Like even if he is kind of a jerk, like how do you argue that? You know, like that was awesome. I remember when I was a little kid and I first got into wrestling, I was like 5 or 6, and I remember my dad always really enjoying Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man. And I always hated him because he was such a bad guy, and he was always trying to get Hulk Hogan's title, and it upset me so much. And Dad would tell me it was all fake, and I was like, that's ridiculous. You can't just fake punch somebody in the face. Look at this, you know? You're absurd, old man. But he would marvel at what a good performer Ted DiBiase was. And then I remember, like, because I sort of fell out of wrestling in the early 90s, and then I only came back into it for maybe a year or so before we started doing it. And so there was that gap where I just didn't think about it at all. And then as soon as I came back, I started doing it, and I immediately went back and looked at some old DiBiase, and I was like, God, why is Dad always right?
Nice. Heck yeah, man. All right.
So I've got a few to talk about.
All right.
First and foremost, Scott Hall.
Yeah, dude.
Razor Ramon.
Scott Hall.
I loved Scott Hall as when I was just a fan. Like right away when Razor Ramon showed up, I was like, that's the one. That's the one. That's why I'm here. As I've become a worker and I started to go back and try to rewatch different guys, he is phenomenal. No holes in his game from you know, when he was Razor Ramon through like the first year and a half of he developed some holes, don't get me wrong. But when he's during that time as Razor Ramon and when they first came to the start of the NWO and WCW, no holes, man. Best worker in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Like in a time where, like, you know, considering that was Shawn Michaels' heyday and Bret Hart was still going really strong,
right,
and what a huge Diesel fan I was, going back and looking, I'm not sure there was anybody better than Razor Ramon Scott Hall at that time. He is a great worker.
I was just listening to Bruce Pritchard's podcast that was about him, and he was talking about, like, because Vince was real high on him when he first, like apparently the minute he walked in, Vince was like, I think he's gonna be our guy. Like Vince knew right away that there was something special about Scott Hall. So that's awesome.
When I hate to admit, X-Pac,
Sean Waltman.
Particularly while he was X-Pac.
Yeah.
You know, he was. I mean, go back. He's always been. I've always hated. I hated the 1-2-3 Kid. Hated him because he pinned Razor Ramon. That was. I remember he came out. He got that surprise pin over Razor Ramon. I was like, "Who is this?" And then he turned on. Like then Razor Ramon was like, "Come here, little buddy," and I was like, "Don't be friends with him." And then he turned and joined the $1 Million Corporation. I was like, "No, no." Hated him. Man, his run as X-Pac. He was phenomenal. There was like he put together his matches were just a step above everybody. He was great. Everything he did look legit. I still don't like him, but you watch his matches. It's hard to find somebody who does it better in that ring.
Nice.
And my final one is Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. You go back and like I had a real bad taste in my mouth as a kid. Loved Hogan because I didn't know any better than to love Hogan.
Right.
I turned on Hogan, honestly, like as soon as I saw like Bret Hart, I was like start to come up. Like as soon as Bret Hart like won the Intercontinental Championship, I was like, I think I'm done with this old bald guy. Pink and Black Attack, let's go.
Yeah.
And then like Scott Hall showed up, and I was just like, get Hogan out of here.
Right.
And I was like, and then I became a worker, and the first thing you learn, like your first day of wrestling school. The teacher comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, Hulk Hogan sucks. He can't wrestle."
Yeah.
So I just ran with that.
Right.
But if you go back and watch, like his heyday in the WWE, he worked with a lot of good guys who helped him along, but he carried his end, man, and he had a style that felt like a main event style. And he wasn't doing a lot of technical wrestling, but his matches were exciting, and not just because the Hulko. Like you go back and I'm a huge fan of WrestleMania 7, Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter. That match is that is a great match. That match feels like a main event.
Yeah.
And I have always, I've grown to really appreciate the way Hogan worked in that era. And then I found a lot of matches where I was like, man, Hogan is just it's not just that he cut a great promo and nobody knew any better. Like Hogan gets in there and knows how to deliver something that feels special.
Well, and it's always been. I mean, it's similar to the argument I've always made about Cena.
John, I was going to say the same thing.
People
Cena's
say
been
stuff on
like
top
that
for so long, and people talk about how he's boring and his matches suck and it's all this and that. Like not like they don't. Like he's definitely adopted a style. Once he became top guy, he had a top guy style.
Yep.
You go back to the pre stuff. I mean, that guy got there by working his tail off.
Right.
and he got to it. And even when he adopted that style, like, that is what that style is, you know? I mean, the top guy isn't doing top rope moonsault, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy who...
Flips.
You know,
he doesn't do flips.
yeah, exactly. You know, like, he is the face of the company.
Right.
He's the guy. You don't work that at the top that often. You know, you work that to get to the top.
Right.
And then B, once you're at the top, like, there's a little bit more invested in you not having a limb fly off into the crowd, you know, in the middle of a spot. So you pick your moments a little different.
Yeah.
And you also learn, you know, a lesson that it takes a lot of guys forever, if they ever learn it, and that's that you can carry a crowd without doing that stuff all the time if you pick your moments to do that. So you don't see that same breakneck style once you get to there. But I'm never going to begrudge a guy who I know can work for working the style that he's supposed to be working, you know? And Hogan was kind of the same way. Like, a lot of the stuff we saw, and I'm not saying he was ever, like, the greatest technician by any means or anything like that, but, I mean, Hogan made more money than anybody but, you know, at most a handful, less than a handful. I mean, you can count people who probably out made more money than him on 2 or 3 fingers tops, if that many. And that's what he was. You know, he was the superhero that always had the monster to fight and always got through that monster, and that's just what that style was. Yep. So on the one hand, was he the greatest technical wrestler ever? No. On the other hand, was he absolutely perfect for the job that was presented to him? Yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, you're right. Everything you're saying is right. But I think if you go back and I think it goes a step beyond that.
Yeah.
If you go back and check his matches out, I mean, they're not technical matches, but they're good matches.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
he is a good worker.
Yeah, that's why. And I'm trying to trying to add to that point.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Awesome questions.
Yeah.
We had some incredible questions.
Yeah. Thank you to all our listeners and fans. And you know what? I know there's a lot of you out there that are listening that don't follow us on Facebook and don't ask us questions. We want to hear your questions too.
Definitely.
This is my favorite part of the show every week is the fan questions.
Yeah, it's fun getting to interact with you guys, and I'm always like shocked to see the cool things that you guys kind of spring on us too sometimes. Like that cartoon question was awesome. You never know where our answers are going to go. That's what's fun about it. So don't forget, guys, head on over to Facebook and you can ask your questions there. All right, so hey, if you guys are enjoying the show, why don't you do us a solid and head over to youtube.com and hit that subscribe button. We have a video version of the podcast going up on the Geek Easy channel. You can just do a search for Geek Easy Podcast. Hit the subscribe, hit that little bell notification thing so that you get alerted every time we upload a new episode. And leave us a comment there too, because all of that helps push us into the algorithm so more eyes get on us. If you prefer the audio version, that's cool. You can find us on all sorts of podcasting platforms. Jonathan was correct. iTunes is apparently dying. But I guess Apple is going to just have a podcasting app. So it's like the same thing.
Yeah, it won't be pretentious at all. It'll be totally cool.
It's just everything's just gonna migrate automatically. So we'll be on Apple's podcasting app. So
if you like to enjoy this show ironically, you can go to the new Apple podcast app.
Otherwise,
I'll start getting a bunch of ironic questions.
So we're also on Google Play, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on Podbean. So we're pretty much on any of your podcasting apps. So you can find us there, you can follow us, you can rate us, you can review us. Anything there helps us out. So please do that wherever you'd like to do it. That'd be great. Anything else, guys?
Not this week.
Cool.
Nope.
Cool.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm going to start saving up lots of money so I can somehow buy all these video games, especially the arcade machines. And
a place to store them. And
so if you guys really enjoy the show, you can donate to us at...
Pixel Dan's got a Patreon.
Yeah, that's true, I do. But I won't use the money for video games, I promise.
Why not? We'll make a show.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They'll flag it as research.
It's going on my taxes as a business right now.
One up easy.
Yeah. One up easy. Nice.
Sponsorship? If One Up is listening.
Yeah. Listen, One Up Arcade.
Send us a few. We'll hawk them on the internet.
Come on, that's not how that works. That's not how sponsorship works.
We'll
review them. Yes,
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's.
You're gonna start some bad rumors. Everybody's gonna be like, Pixel Dan gets stuff, and
I don't mean as in like pawning them. I mean as in selling them.
oh, like us talking about them on the internet.
Promoting.
There you go.
Hawking,
Okay,
not hawking.
okay. I thought you were just like,
It's that.
send us your samples.
I didn't realize there was a difference
me
in the
either.
pronunciation.
I legit thought you were like, send us your samples. We'll put them on eBay.
Yeah. Nope. Nope.
Good, because that's not what we'll do. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
The Geek Easy podcast is a production of PixelDan.com. Musical tracks used in the intro and outro are used with full permission of the respective owners or creators. Intro and outro narrations are provided by me, Brian T. Stevenson. PixelDan.com's The Geek Easy podcast is provided for entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those solely of the hosts or guests and do not necessarily represent those of PixelDan.com or any other party. Be sure to join us next time for another installment of the Geek Easy podcast.